Welcome to Comics League Dark. I am Jared, and today, well, first off, I'm here with the boys. We got the Nick from the Phoenix Press. What's up, Oldie?
I am Legion.
Okay. What's up, Taladia?
Not much, I stayed the whole night last night to watch just for the Penguin. So
Hell yeah.
Was it all I was quacked up to be?
Yeah. And what's up, Heat Man?
What's going on? How's everybody doing tonight?
Good.
Masta?
So today we are discussing the worst comic book characters of all time and why they're lame as the subject
And
line.
let's start with the lamest of them all.
Lois
Yes.
lame.
Lois
All right.
lame.
Now, let me be clear on this. I have to reiterate this, and I've been clear on this before, but I just want to reiterate this. I like the movies and TV's versions of Lois more than the comics. I tolerate the movies and TV. It's when you get to the comics, because here's the problem here. All right. So they have to add crap to Lois to make her interesting. Like they have to give her powers with this go around. It's probably only going to last for an arc, but I'm just like, why and call her Superwoman? Oh, the evil Wonder Woman. That works. Thank you. But it's like, and Nick, let me ask you this to start off. It's like, isn't it like a red flag when you have to constantly do all this stuff to make this character like special or important?
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like how all the stuff they did to Jimmy Olsen in like the 50s and the 60s. Like there's one comic where they made him a werewolf.
And I just got a fantastic analogy. Lois is the Ray of Superman.
Did you see the article I sent you on how
I
there's
did.
rumors?
Yeah, we did. We're not gonna touch that, but yeah, I did see that about Ray Star Wars. But I think the problem with this, it's like, let me put it this way. I've debated Lois with people on the internet before, and when I found the one person that was civil, they brought up, well, Lois was had a top selling series in the 60s, and I'm like, we're not in the 60s. But second off, let's examine that. What was the title of that series?
Lois Lane, Superman's girlfriend.
It was Superman's girlfriend, Lois Lane. Here's the thing, and you can trace this, and this is like 100% of the time true. Lois is unsellable unless Superman's name is in the title.
Or he's associated with the book in some way.
Yes, exactly. It's like, take that Greg Rucka Lois Lane book that I put in the Comics League group chat, giving it the finger.
Nice touch. I respect it.
Thank you. It's only called Lois Lane. And among the fact that, by the way, that turned into a question book, so she was a side character in her own book. So
it wasn't the Jimmy Olsen book. Like Jimmy Olsen, Superman's pal. Like Jimmy Olsen got top billing in his book, but Lois Lane got second billing in her own book.
Oh no, it was still Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen. It was the name of the book.
Oh. Yeah, but Jimmy, but that book, it's kind of like Harley Quinn in a way, and the reason I say that is because Jimmy is a blank slate. You could put him in just about any crazy or wacky situation, then Clark/Superman has to save him in some way, and you can repeat the tried and true formula multiple times. With Lois, it's in the context of Superman and Lois being in a relationship, and she's just playing the damsel in distress at most of the time. I'm not going to say every story she's in, but most of the time. You don't have as much creativity as you would with a Jimmy Olsen series, if I'm making sense.
Yeah. The other thing that's interesting is essentially, and here's the other issue with Lois. She's generic. Here's what I mean by that. You notice how when you go to cons, there's barely any, there's barely ever, if any, Lois Lane cosplayers. You know,
I mean, it's a pretty standard attire. You dress like a journalist and you wear a fake badge ID. I mean, it's a pretty standard cosplay.
I see more Clark Kent, because the Clark Kent outfit is usually suit, glasses, tie, but you have your shirt open and it has Superman under. Like, you can do Clark Kent at a Comic-Con. And
that's really easy. It's just the problem is, and when you get to like what I've said, and Brit had this on Legacy, what she said was The reason why is because Lois is just gender bent Clark. So it's like, what are you gonna do there? It's like, unless you have a name tag, you can't do it. What do you want to say, Claudia?
I'm gonna say that Lois Lane, that issue that just recently they showed the
Mm-hmm.
couple of panels and everything.
They look
I'm
like
like,
siblings, as Britt
I'm-
says.
I-
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm like, no. I saw Joshua Williamson posted on Twitter, and then I saw Scott
Because he's
Snyder
writing it.
and then I saw Scott Snyder retweeting it. And I'm just like, Scott, no.
You know what I did? So Britt posted it in the Super Wonder group chat we're a part of, and she legit goes. So she goes, they look like siblings. So I said, did John Byrne write this?
Oh God, no.
Low hanging fruit, Jared. Low hanging fruit.
But can you blame me?
Jared, check
No, you can't
Twitter
blame me.
DMs.
I saw that. But
But here's the other thing.
yeah.
DC doesn't really have the problem with some of their other reporter characters. Like, look at Vicky Vale.
Yeah, she's
You know,
great.
she's Lois, but she also has like the femme fatale kind of thing. But also, Vicky Vale's a much better journalist than Lois Lane. Let's be honest.
Yeah, here's the thing. It gets to the point where, okay, and the Death of Superman animated movie, the DeCamu one, made that exact same point, Nick. Because here's my problem with that movie. Here's how they do the Superman identity reveal from Superman to Lois. He just goes, "Hey Lois, I'm Superman," and I'm like, "You're dating this woman. She's never
seen you with glasses without glasses. She should have figured this out.
Unless they
least.
turn the lights off beforehand.
At least in the Reeves movie, his posture changes. He does
He
feats.
does something.
He does feats that point to him being at least odd. With this guy, he just stands there and goes, "I'm Superman." Could you get any more lazy?
The DeCam. I'll say this till I'm blue in the face. Granted, I troll Jared and Britt on Super Wonder Legacy. Great banter all around. But I'll give them this. This was clearly around the time they were course correcting and editorial changes behind the scenes. And the most you got was a very lazy reveal and a couple throwaway lines. That's pretty much the most you got out of those two movies. Even I have to admit that.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, real quick, and then Nick, you can go. I just wanted to bring up, we got a great Wonder Woman variant.
Indeed.
Yes, we did.
For Absolute Wonder Woman. And we learned that the sword changes depending on magic. So I just wanted to point that out because it's great art. But anyway, so Nick, what do you want to add?
In my opinion, I think Vicky Vale is everything everyone wants Lois Lane to be.
Mm-hmm. And here's the thing. With Bruce, he puts more effort into his secret identity. It's more believable that people wouldn't know that Bruce Wayne is Batman than Clark Kent is Superman.
To be fair, if we're talking like the Reeves stuff, he does put a lot into it, but it's all personality based. I mean, Batman does do understand well, but the thing with Superman is there's been plenty of times like he's at the Daily Planet and like he trips over and like his glasses fall off, or hell, one of my favorite Silver Age stories is they have Clark be a Superman look-alike.
Mm-hmm. And by drop in the comments your least favorite comic book character, and then we'll have that. But yeah, but Nick, that's an excellent point. He does something to differentiate himself because in the DeCamu, he didn't even do the clumsy Clark. That would be one thing if he did the clumsy Clark.
To be fair, and this is also kind of like an indictment against the Snyder stuff, because like I'm sorry, like I love Henry Cavill, but his Clark is not good.
Even I have to admit that.
And
I'm with Nick.
more on the direction after all.
But it's also the acting, because like look at the Superman and Lois. Even his actor, like he's still a little like he doesn't really slouch, but he acts more like a doofus, or like a
yeah.
jolt.
But here's the thing, though. At the time that the movies were coming out, Clark was not a doofus anymore. They kind of dumped that version of the character.
No, but even in Superman and Lois, that he still acts differently. Like,
no, here's
look
why.
At him, Clark when he's out in public versus when he's in private is very different.
Well, here's why, Nick. When Superman and Lois started, that was in the rebirth era of DC when they brought back the post-crisis Clark that acted like a buffoon. New 52 Clark never did that.
There was no reason to.
There's no reason to. So that's why I excuse that, because it's more in line with the way the comics were at the time. Yeah.
Well, both the comics and the movies didn't do a good job with it.
Okay, that's fair. I will take that as a criticism. There you go. At least you're consistent, unlike most of comic book Twitter. And Kirby, what's up, brother? Dog, you guys are the second bunch of people who pronounce the Camus like that. Well, it's because.
Go ahead, Jared.
It's because it's I Hate America shot. We'll get to Marvel. Marvel has more cringe characters.
Holy menstruation.
Wait. Yes, exactly. And you better believe Snowflake and Safe Space are going to be discussed. Injustice made me hate Superman until like 2019 when I watched Reign of the Supermen.
Injustice is not a good Superman experience. I will go ahead and say that right now. It is not.
As a somebody that plays the Injustice games, right?
Mm-hmm.
It kind of got me back into the Superman, genre of.
That's fair, the initial intrigue, but then it gets to a point to where, okay, even if we're factoring that, Clark would have never spiraled this bad this quickly. Because Kingdom Come is a perfect example.
Well, yeah, and actually, let's go to Injustice and talk about the characters that royally screwed up. First, Superman. So, okay. Here's the problem with this. So, the story of Injustice, in case you're one of the lucky few that didn't read that book, the Joker decides, I've had my fun with Batman. I'm going to go screw with Superman. For some reason, he decides to escalate that. He kidnaps Lois, ties slaves a nuclear bomb to her heartbeat, and then douses Superman with fear toxin, sends Superman into space. Hey, what's up, Barry? And Superman kills Lois, but then also detonates a nuke in Metropolis. Here's the part where it gets really contrived is the word. Even though he killed Lois, which I kind of appreciate, he now decides to turn evil and be a villain. What's up, Barry? And
I'm going to talk about Kirby's Damian comment after you're done.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
We will.
I have words.
For sure.
I have words.
So the thing about Injustice is that it led to the belief among Superman fans that if Superman is not with Lois, he turns into Injustice Superman. And here's the problem with that. Yes, Lois dying contributed to his fall. That was not the one. It was not that one thing.
Wonder Woman kind of pushed him in that.
Yes, I'll get to that. Metropolis was nuked.
One bad day.
Now
I'm
Wonder
sorry.
Woman.
You set me up perfectly for that, Jared. Come on.
But the thing is, like Jared said, it wasn't just one bad day. It was also Wonder Woman kind of being the devil on the shoulder.
Because here's why. All right, so they fought because you know what's kind of funny. They had to give an origin for Injustice Wonder Woman because it was like, how does she turn evil? So the origin it's basically the movie up until the end. At the end, they're trying to get like prisoner. They're trying to interrogate a prisoner, a German who fought in World War II prisoner. I have to say it that way because I don't know how YouTube is with monetization for that word. So they have to go get the lasso of truth. Yes, when Wonder Woman left the island, she didn't have the lasso. She goes back. Steve is put in a cell on Themyscira. He kills an Amazon, steals a lasso. Turns out he's a German spy. And Wonder Woman strangles him with the lasso for killing an Amazon.
Her sister, an Amazon sister, yes.
Now, here's the problem with this. So they're using that to explain why Wonder Woman is such an evil person. Here's the issue. She then went to serve on the Justice Society and the Justice League. People she identifies as the best men she has ever known. So I'm like, wait a second here. This doesn't follow that because one bad guy, but you serve with the best men you've ever met. Your words, not mine.
I think the problem with Justice Wonder Woman is she is not consistent because we've had evil Wonder Woman before.
Yeah.
We've had like I hate men Wonder Woman. So like to say that Wonder Woman could get to the Injustice mindset, it's actually not that bad of a stretch. The problem is they didn't really connect the dots well enough.
And now,
And it was a one shot, so you only had so little time to do it. This really could have been a mini series where you could have gone to a deeper perspective about how Steve Trevor was conflicted with the escalations of World War II, how he was one of the few people who was drafted into the war due to Germany's economic decline. There was a lot of intrigue with this kind of story and perspective, but hey, you only have a cheap one shot that was crapped out on shelves, and there's only so much you can do with 30 pages.
Now, here's the other thing, JJheat. The other problem with this is that, by the way, Kirby brings up one more version of Wonder Woman I'll bring up, and then I'll get to his Damian comment, I promise.
Okay.
Flashpoint Wonder Woman. Here's why I have
completely
to bring
irredeemable.
No. Hang on. All right. So
Let him cook.
Fairly recently, I read the Flashpoint. I got the omnibus for Flashpoint. And what this includes is the full event, plus all the tie-ins that give you origins for what's happening on the story.
Okay.
I read the Wonder Woman one. That movie butchered her. Here's what happens. Here's what happens in the movie. I'm explaining the movie plot first. She meets Arthur. They have an affair. She cuts off Mira's head.
Yay!
Yeah. Here is the comic one. She meets Arthur. They're supposed to have a royal wedding and everything to join the kingdoms. That part is accurate. Then Artemis and Ocean Master essentially conspire to put the two armies against each other. Then Hippolyta is killed in the crossfire. Hang on. Then, so they try multiple times to get peace to the point where Arthur shows up, and he shows up with a bunch of submarines as like a show of force. But they both do not want war. Then Wonder Woman then the conspirators attack, and it makes it look like Arthur showed up just to like attack Wonder Woman. So as the Amazons are evacuating, they have to blow up Themyscira. So they do that, and then they kill, and then Wonder Woman kills Mira in self-defense. She even practically begs Mira, "Don't do this. I don't want to kill you." Continuing on. Then it's discovered that the Amazons had like a prison camp for women. So whenever the Amazons would take prisoners, they would separate the women from the men. The women would be basically indoctrinated to become Amazons, and the men would be imprisoned basically in Alcatraz. Wonder Woman finds out about this and is like, "I never authorized this," and she lets the prisoners go. Then the movie makes arguably one of the worst sins. Wonder Woman kills Shazam as Billy Batson. In the comic, she does not do this. It's a random Amazon.
In the game, Superman does it.
In the Flashpoint game?
Oh, sorry. I thought we were talking about Injustice.
Similar, but that's my point. In self-defense. This is purely in self-defense. It's more justifiable in self-defense in the comic than it is in the movie.
But did they have an affair?
This story is so contrived. Like they have to have conspirators and agitators in order to get the plot going. If they don't give any of the characters agency, they remove their choice from this comic. So misunderstanding. I'm sorry. This is such bad writing.
Well, that's fine, Nick. But and that's fair enough. My point is, Flashpoint changed events to make it look like Wonder Woman was this murderess, and hey, what's up, Britt? Yes, I got you real quick. I'm just gonna go ahead and do this.
He's back.
There you go. What do you want to say, JJheat?
Even if you, I'll even agree with Britt on this one. Even if you want to put Diana in more of a man-hating or antagonistic role, she's still not going to be a quote-unquote villain. When Justice League Flashpoint Paradox came out and then the New 52 stuff editorial, Flashpoint as an adaptation was streamlined. Let's call it for what it is. So the closest thing you really had to a villain was either one or two things. Either Thawne himself, because of the time travel and the red herring for how Barry, wanted to save his mom. So you needed the initial mystery for that, story-wise. but you still needed a physical villain for everything going on in the apocalypse of Flashpoint. And Diana leading the Amazons relatively played that role. Or at least the Amazon Atlantean War as a set piece played that role.
But here's the thing, and I understand, and when I talk to Sam, I understand that like some things you have to like cut or cut out for the sake of time. You could have just put slideshows, essentially a like montage, if you will, when Barry's having a seizure and he's seeing like the history of the world. What do you want to say, Claudia?
I was going to say, in the omnibus, I wanted to ask you, did they have an affair in the omnibus as well as compared to the movie? They didn't have an affair.
That was also added for the movie.
That's interesting then.
Why?
They literally did not. That they
was literally just.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Jared. I have to say this. It was literally just Orm being Orm, brokering a power play and trying to undermine Aquaman's authority. Both Hippolyta and Mara were collateral damage from one of Orm's schemes. The
Wonder Woman still killed Mira. I'm not going to excuse that, but this was more in the self-defense, and Wonder Woman literally begged her, "Don't make me do this."
Okay, I had to ask if they did.
When you look at it was the most frustrating experience of my life. When you look at Injustice Wonder Woman, the comics, Injustice Wonder Woman, Flashpoint Wonder Woman, she is not a villain. Not a villain at all. She's a victim, not a villain. But anyway,
really cool suit though.
Hey, what's up, Tevia? We're talking about the worst comic book character.
All right, let's.
Go ahead.
I have a rant.
Yeah, go ahead.
Get out of your system, Nick.
Kirby says the Damian hate that stemmed from that universe was frustrating. He's talking about the Camu. Go ahead.
Okay, here's the problem. Damian in Injustice is actually not that bad. He's just a victim of poor writing. So the thing that defines him in Injustice is the death of Nightwing, which is so stupid and not really even like this is how bad it is. I'm defending Damian right now. He's not my favorite character. I'm defending this bastard. But so they're doing a fight, and one of their training things is they frustrate him. He throws the baton, and Nightwing catches it. That's an established thing. So they do that. He thought Nightwing would catch it, but he's distracted. It hits him in the head. He falls to the ground and lands on a conveniently placed rock.
And by the way, if you guys ever ask me how I would kill Lois Lane, it's that.
Wait, when did Geode get into DC? Thank you.
Like the pipe that the baton thing. Okay, like him hitting the head. Like okay, that's fair writing. But then he just lands on a rock and dies is the most comically cliche bad writing ever. And then also the aftermath of like, I'm sorry, like I can understand Batman being mad, but even Batman would eventually come to realize, you know, like, I'm sorry, to the point where he like, and then he gets mad at Damian for joining the regime. Bitch, you pushed him to join the regime.
Exactly.
I'm sorry for cursing, Jared.
No, it's okay. That's another character in Justice Ruin is Batman. Because when you look at this, up until in the beginning of the story, so Superman kills the Joker. That's the only. Let's start from there. Batman practically disowns him at that point. This is before he's killed any Justice Leaguers. Batman practically disowns him. That's why I say Injustice Batman is equally responsible for everyone Superman did. Because if Batman had like been more of a friend saying, I know you're hurting, don't do this, don't do anymore. It doesn't have to get out of control. I am going to be here for you. I'm going to help you through this. If you had done that, Injustice ends. That shows you how contrived this story is.
I think Damian is actually fairly decently written.
Yeah.
Like there's like the whole storyline of Nightwing becoming Deadman, actually forgiving Damian and giving him his blessing to become Nightwing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I think that's fairly decent writing. Like, I have no problem with any of that. You know? I think Damian has actually a very good reason to join Superman in the regime. So I think Damian himself was written fairly decently.
All right, Cameron has a hot take. Hey guys, what's up? I said, see, we're talking about worst characters. Hot take. My pick is Dick as Batman. And before I get attacked, let me remind people. He said he was
Someone
going
is
to put
choosing
Tim in Arkham.
Well, Cameron Bailey, I'm sorry, but this is war.
Yeah, this is objectively wrong. Okay, but before Nick goes on a tirade, let me go ahead and be the mediator here.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Grayson did consider throwing Tim in Arkham, but the reason he did that was because what happened with Captain Boomerang and Tim's biological father, the presumed death of Bruce, and no one really believing Bruce was time displaced, and then the return of Bruce Wayne and all that. So for all intents and purposes, Grayson believed Tim was having a mental breakdown with Grayson's decision to make Damian his Robin being the straw that broke the camel's back. That was the only reason Grayson even considered the idea.
I mean, let's be honest. Making Damian Robin without telling Tim was kind of a dick move.
Well, he really does live to
Low hanging fruit, my dude. Low hanging.
I'm sorry.
Fruit.
I love when I make a really bad joke and there's like silence for a few seconds, and you guys take a moment to process what I say.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, well played, Nick. Well played.
Superior Spider-Man because I hate Doc Ock is Superior Spider-Man. Wait, whoa, that's a hot take. Because Superior Spider-Man was great. It was a redemption for Ock. I don't know why that's bad, but okay. But okay.
I'll argue the arc was rushed, but I wouldn't call it bad by any stretch of the imagination.
All right, so I'm going to go around the panel now, and we're going to go over who our worst characters are. You guys, the entire internet knows my worst character.
Okay, I got one that I don't normally talk about. So
I'll go last. Go ahead, Nick.
So we don't like Captain Marvel. Like, he is bad, but I just want to highlight one specific storyline. You guys know what I'm about to say. Like, Civil War 2 is like,
yeah,
it is. If Captain Marvel is usually a 1, this turns her into a -5.
Oh yeah. Oh my god. Mm-hmm.
Okay, Kirby, you're just trolling the chat at this point. Kirby's most recent response.
Please don't interrupt as the people are talking, JJheat. I just want to tell you that.
But it's like he goes from like unlikable hero to straight out villain, and it is such a even if you don't like Captain Marvel, you could admit it is a uncharacteristic heel turn. Carol would actually never act like that in Civil War 2.
Yeah, exactly. She becomes too much of a practically a religious fanatic even when she sees examples of like Ulysses not predicting the future. In other words, her refutation, her like the predictions of Ulysses don't come true. So I'm like, yeah, why are you? And that's Iron Man's point. Iron Man's point is if he's wrong about these things, why are we taking him as an absolute certainty?
I do think a lot of the Captain Marvel hate does come from that storyline. I think without Civil War 2, I'm not saying she'd be a beloved character. I just don't think she'd be the Marvel punching bag she is.
Well, because here's the problem with the way that Marvel handles Captain Marvel / Ms. Marvel. Is the problem is that when you get to is that they try. This is another one of those occasions where they said you have to like this character, and I'm like, okay. Carol was already a good character. If you read the Brian Reed run where she was Ms. Marvel and she actually had a solid character arc. Yeah. What, Nick?
We need to review that on a Comic Watch.
Yeah, it's freaking fantastic run. It's one of the best run. It's one of those things where when I read it, I was pissed because I'm like, why aren't we getting that? Because here's the thing. Here's why Marvel pushed her so hard. Because when Wonder Woman came out, they realized that all of their female characters that really are like the biggest like female characters at Marvel were the movie rights were owned by other people. And they didn't want to make a Black Widow movie at the time. So they figured, let's make a Captain Marvel movie. Okay, that's fine. If you had given her the characterization of the Brian Reed, Ms. Marvel, and Nick, yes, when we review this, you will like this. If she were like, first off, send her back to being Ms. Marvel, problem solved. But if they reverted her back to that characterization, she would be Marvel's Wonder Woman.
I mean, hell, the two things they could do is put her in. Like, imagine they gave her the Ms. Marvel suit from the 2000s, just Captain Marveled it up, like the same kind of bikini design or whatever. Just give it more of like a Captain Marvel feel, and then kind of give her that personality. She's still Captain Marvel. Like, I guarantee you, she would be a lot more loved.
Well, first off, and also she was drawn very like non-sexily, and they've kind of gone back on that in recent years, which I'm happy for. But that they had her shave her, they basically gave her the Karen haircut. They made her more androgynous, and I'm like, no, have you seen the character?
I mean, even worse. Like, you can put Carol in that suit, and have her look good. Have you seen the anime for Captain Marvel?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, she looks gorgeous, and it's the same suit.
There you go.
That's Captain Marvel, by the way. That is the Captain Marvel I remember from Iron Man cartoon. No, X-Men cartoon. That I remember. That's the...
Yeah. She was also in Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes as Ms.
Well,
Marvel.
The other problem is they're desperately trying to make Captain Marvel their Superman, and
really they're Wonder Woman.
I don't know. Like, it feels like he has a similar power set to Superman, and it does feel like they're trying to, like, they desperately want her to be like the central Superman type character.
I see what you're saying, and you are right in that respect. That they literally have people refer to her as the greatest hero of Earth.
Like, and I'm sorry, the Captain Marvel movie in Marvel is a wannabe Superman movie. It so desperately wants to be Superman.
Yeah, pretty much. And you know, it's kind of funny. You could argue that any potential that they had to make Carol their Superman or their Ms. Marvel failed with that movie, because that just turned people off.
Kamala has a chance. I think the TV show did her well, and the actress herself is being a good representation of the character. I think people are starting to come around to Kamala, and then
the problem is, and I know it's not necessarily her fault, you also have the crappy Marvels.
That is true.
Which, by the way, she was the best part of that movie. I'm just
she was. But here's the problem with that. The way Hollywood executives think is that if a movie fails, they'll assume all parts of that failed, and they'll just de-emphasize all of those parts. That's why that's what I think is going to happen with Kamala. Okay. But yeah, go ahead.
Can I give a hot take?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think the Marvels is better than Captain Marvel.
Was it?
It actually has some interesting conflicts. The stuff with like Photon and Captain Marvel and bringing in Kamala, it's actually kind of interesting and actually has a decent character conflict for everybody.
And by the way, yeah, Dave brings up an excellent point. Everyone loved Carol, but modern Carol Danvers is a lame imposter in a skin suit. So she's not Lois Lane, but she is lame. There you go. Kamala Khan is a Muslim character.
Yes, she is.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, that's the obvious. Yeah.
I think the entire Ms. Marvel show was better than both movies. Yep, yeah. True.
I will say the middle section of Ms. Marvel, when they were in like it was India or Pakistan. That section kind of dragged a little bit, but other than that, it was pretty good.
Yeah, Brown says, I think that worse things that Lois Lane did to the comics is a lot lesser than what MJ and Paul did to Peter Parker.
Oh, they said the name. All right. Okay.
Roll the tape.
All right. Hang on. Let me find a good one for that. Okay, I got it.
What is this?
That's the Spider-Man fandom when Paul debuted.
What is that?
It's just so time flows differently. She has kids. It's just so.
Now we're gonna talk about the other character that royally sucks, and it's associated with DC, Jon Kent. All right, so here's the thing.
Here we go.
So do you know why the reason why Jurgens created Jon Kent? Because he wanted to make it so Superman could never be with Wonder Woman ever again. That was his reasoning. The funny part is that doesn't do that doesn't accomplish your goal, and it just made him really boring. And I'm just like,
can you imagine they have Jon, and then him and Lois get a divorce, and he ends up with Wonder Woman, and so Wonder Woman is the stepmom to Jon. Oh my god, that actually sounds cool.
Nick, guess what? You and I did. We did it at a stream where we did that exact same concept. But go on, Zeladia.
Jon Kent is the most lamest character of all time, right?
Oh,
Because of the fact of the name that he carries over, right? He's not Superman. He's Superboy. That's the purpose. But to change him from Superboy into Superman, right? You made him even more lamer. Because now you're carrying the Superman name and you're putting the Superman name into through the mud.
It's worse than that. So,
but I just think though he's the most lamest character of all time. He's the most lamest character of all time. He doesn't even need to be in the DC lore. That's what I think. I really despise him as a character.
Yeah, but
that's the worst part. Nick? Is they wanted a gay Superman. Except they couldn't make Clark gay because even they're not dumb enough to do that. So what they did is they gave the title of Superman to Jon, put Clark out of the picture so that Jon is the only Superman in the universe, then made him gay because the headline's like Superman's gay now, and people will see it, they'll think it's Clark, but it's Jon. So it was kind of like they wanted the have their cake and eat it too kind of situation and just look in their faces.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, Dave says Dan Jurgens is rubbing his hands behind a tree, just waiting to write a Death of Jon Kent storyline. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Check the private.
Yeah, but Kirby. That's what I know what you're doing. But what DC and Marvel mean when they make a character bi is they really mean gay, unless the fan base rejects them.
Okay, I need to say this. Man, I guess you could say Deanna's really jerking us around.
Come on, man.
It's one of the many reasons why Dan Jurgens is very overrated as a writer. And this is why I say that DC should start filtering out all these old-timey writers because they don't know how to attract a new fan base.
I'm sorry, I'm just playing the scenario in my head where, for some reason you're having him write Athena, and I don't know how he does it, but he somehow gets Doomsday into your universe.
Oh, and then I would say no. I would edit him and say nope, cut that crap out.
No, it's Dave's Doom. It's not Doomsday,
no, but I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing, Jurgens, and you don't get to be a hack in my universe. By the way, in Absolute Power Time, they're doing a Super Sons thing where Damian, Jon Kent, and Cassandra are going to show where Black Canary sing. First off, it's not Cassandra, it's Trinity. And yeah,
I think I saw a short to that. It's
I'll go.
They essentially treat Black Canary like she's Britney Spears.
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift.
I'm sorry, but they're trying to make Black Canary into Dazzler, and I just do not like it.
No,
excuse me.
The singing thing doesn't factor in there.
Because Dazzler's a singer who's also a superhero. That's what I'm getting at.
No.
But was Dazzler based on Taylor Swift, or was she based off Britney Spears? I forget.
Wait, guys. Let Taladia finish.
I want to say this first real quick. Dazzler was created before Taylor was even born. So
yeah.
Okay.
So I was gonna say that. Wait a minute. When did Black Canary get the sing in this Absolute Tie-in comic? And why is she get?
It was the tie-in for Absolute Wonder Woman.
Oh,
because
okay.
you know how in the Wonder Woman book they have the backups that are dealing with Jon and Damian. It's basically the Trinity of kids.
But why show that though? That doesn't make any sense.
I don't know why. It's gotten to the point where when I'm reading that book, I skip those backups because I'm like, why would I want to read this? This is cringe as hell. So that says I never really cared for Jon or the Super Sons. So did most people. I also think Super Sons concept was stupid. Here's the thing: they launched the book and it failed 3 times. But anyway, so the problem with Jon is you guys know I hate mantle sharing, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I'm just like because when you do like Aquaman, Batman, and all that stuff, I'm like, no. I'm sorry, dude. That just because when people think of Superman, they think of Clark. When they think of Batman, they think of Bruce Wayne.
That's why every time they replace Batman, Bruce always comes back.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I believe that they tried to move on from Bruce in the late 2000s, and it might have worked for like a minute, but then they eventually did bring it back. All right, Talati, you're up.
Yeah, go ahead, Talati.
I'm going to say that Jon Kent made headlines because the fact that he was Superman, right?
And gay. It was those two things. There was those two.
And
again,
that issue sold well, and then not another one since.
That's the hilarious part about it.
But the fact is, it made headlines across the world, including the UK, by the way.
Which was totally DC's intention. That was the intention.
Yeah, and that's what it is.
It's crazy. It was crazy when I saw that on the news. But
yeah,
anyway,
it was really stupid. Yeah, go ahead, JJheat.
Quick question before we move on from the Super Sen discussion. But yeah, say what you will about Son of Kal-El being a shelf title. First of all, you're going to see shelf titles in this industry all across the board. We won't be the first, won't be the last. With that being said, they did nothing with it. That's the cardinal sin here. You literally did nothing with it. You wasted 15 issues.
I love Britt. King's backups in the Wonder Woman book of Wacko, Yakko, and Dot are based on his kids. Wacko, yeah.
Oh, God.
I love you, Britt. That's awesome. What's the point of making original characters gay? Make new characters gay? Because I'm going to answer that very simple, Kirby. Laziness. That's what it is. And Dan Slott admitted it. He said because it's hard to get people to like latch on these new characters. But as JJheat put in the private chat, guess who you have? Midnighter and Apollo.
And I will.
It's the same reason why all of a sudden every character is becoming black, every male character is becoming a woman. And if you're a ginger, oh God, hide them in the closet.
If you're the ginger side is real, my dude. The ginger side is real. By the way, Nemo asked panel members, "What do you think of Superboy Prime, Cassie Sandsmark, Yara Flor, and other characters that get let down by DC?" I like Yara. See, the problem with Yara is that they also kind of were culturally insensitive with that character and fell into cultural stereotypes, according to Britt.
Who was Yara again?
Believe it. What? Huh?
Who was Yara?
Remember in Future State, they released like John is Superman, Jace Fox Batman, and here's this Brazilian Wonder Woman.
Oh, I like Cassie. That's Wonder Girl, right?
Yeah, Cassie's great. Superboy Prime is actually a really great character if you read all of his books.
Countdown notwithstanding, but yeah, Superboy Prime. Yeah, Superboy Prime definitely got a solid redemption in Dark Knight's death metal. So I won't take that away from him. But yeah, the majority of the more popular characters that debuted like in the early 90s to early 90s to the early 2000s, you barely see them around anymore. They barely get highlighted.
Like Stephanie Brown or like I'm sorry, Birds of Prey did the Batgirl wrong. Because like if you read like the early 2000s, like the Batgirl when she went all ninja and dark and had like her sewn up, that was a cool Batgirl.
By the way, Barry Allen has a question for the panel. I know what Jared thinks, but I'm curious about the consensus of you guys. Is Wonder Woman bi? Yes or no?
Depends on the writer. I'm just
JJheat, let me add an addendum to this. Editorially,
fair enough.
Because that was my point later, because the writer can say whatever they want. And this is what I've argued with people on Twitter before, because I'm like, first off, Nick, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to repeat what Nick was saying. I definitely acknowledge she is a bi ally. She is an ally of LGBTQ people, as is Superman, as is Flash, as is everyone that works with these people.
I mean, Wonder Woman, out of all of them, her he is like the last person that because she grew up on an island where there were tons of lesbians around. I'm not saying every woman was lesbian.
Cameron, right there. people forget that Diana can be straight and still be an icon. Superman's still technically an icon. That's my point. And it's like
icon.
Yeah, icon. Yes, if I intended. But here's the thing, because there's like information you can look up on this. So JJheat, do you know who JJheat Axelrod is?
I'm familiar with that person. Yes.
So so in addition to writing a really crappy Hawkgirl book, she wrote like one of those like reference books like the DC Encyclopedia I have, but for all the like Pride characters.
Yeah.
So someone had asked her, so if you're doing all these books, do you think that Diana will be in the book? So she said, based on my conversations with the people behind that control the character, no. So what that means is DC is legit saying DC will never come out and say whether or not she is or isn't. But they're never going to, they're going to keep it ambiguous, but they're never going to address it. And chances are she's only going to date dudes. Because here's the problem, and I brought this up to my Super Wonder friends as well. The minute they confirm her as bi, that significantly limits the audience, or like, or makes her already paltry audience. I would argue half of that audience check out of the book. It happens every time they do that.
And for a character as top tier as Wonder Woman, like, she is a triple plus tier. She is part of the Trinity.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they will never make her gay because, like you said, instantly banned in Dubai, Saudi Arabia, so many other countries would just drop the book immediately, like drop the character.
Or you'd never be able to show a Wonder Woman movie.
Or if show up in games, literally anything. Like,
yeah.
Sorry, Taladia, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Taladia.
And the fact that she's a more box office drawn when she's with, when she's straight than bi.
That's why.
For example, Superman and Wonder Woman, or Superman Wonder Woman, but for New 52. That's so, as Jared has said multiple times, across the years.
Even before you guys joined Comics League, I was saying that.
Yeah, it's like it's all gangbusters.
At least with Batwoman, that's a character that hadn't been seen in comics for like 30 years at that point. Like, yeah, Kathy Kane existed in the 60s, but she hadn't been seen for such a long time that you're basically making a new character. And it basically you get a path.
And do you know why they could do that, Nick? Because guess what happened in between Kathy Kane's last appearance and when she showed up in 52? Crisis on Infinite Earth. So there was already a reboot. So you could just start the character from scratch and say, okay, so now we're going to have her be this way. And you know what? Again, that's another character that they should be pushing if they want representation, who is a genuinely great character that the fan base likes.
Yeah, the thing about Batwoman, and I think she's kind of a poster child for how to do these things, is yes, she's a lesbian. She dates the gender bent question. I don't like Renee Montoya becoming the question, but that's really besides the point here. But she dates women. She is very much a lesbian, but she's also an interesting character. She has character flaws. She has a backstory, and her stories are not about her being a lesbian.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, and Nemo asked a good question. Do you think DC should continue with Trinity as the daughter of Wonder Woman, or should she just? Okay, so I'm going to say this. I'm going to make I'm going to make a Jared prediction, because the Wonder Woman book by Tom King is selling poorly, and it's getting review tanked even by the shills. So honestly, what I would think is going to happen, I don't think the book is going to last that long. I think what will happen is they'll end the Sovereign story, which will be like the next arc is the last Sovereign story, and then they'll end it. And then in terms of Trinity, if that Trinity book that's coming out, also written by Tom King, is not big, they will hide that character. They do it if the book doesn't sell well, even if it's critically reviewed well, they consider it an abject failure.
Oh, Trinity's going to get shelved the moment Tom King's off the book. There's no question about that. But I feel like we're misguiding a deeper issue that, for all intents and purposes, Trinity is just a rebrand of the Super, serves as a plot device for a Super Sons rebrand. That's really all she boils down to.
I do want to respond to Edson.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, they did make Batwoman gay to pander. I actually do remember reading that
However,
myself.
it didn't come out that way though.
Yeah, like that might have been the initial like thing, but eventually they actually did do good things with it.
Well, even if you read 52, she's a great character on her own, and here's the thing: if you didn't, to a point, you could read the book and not even know her sexuality. What I mean by that is because too many times when writers write bi or gay characters, they make that their whole personality, or like they make them a stereotype of that community. It's offensive to be sure, but with Kate Kane, no, she was a legitimate, fantastic character. There was a whole storyline in Rebirth. This is one of the other few good Rebirth books in Detective Comics where she and Batman wanted to form they wanted to organize the Bat family into an actual military unit, and she had to fight her father who was trying to replace Batman. And I'm like, that is awesome. Or like the initial Batwoman run by Greg Rucka, that was solid.
Great run.
So that's the point, and that's the thing. It's like whenever these characters get criticized for when they change the sexuality and stuff, people paint it as the fans just don't like gay characters. That's not true. As in case of Midnighter and Apollo and Batwoman, the reason why those still exist as characters, or like characters that we like, is because their sexuality is not all those characters are. I read Authority.
I do need to interject. I don't think Midnighter and Apollo are as popular as we would make them out to be. Like, they're not hated characters, but they just kind of exist.
No, but what I mean by that is that those are characters that when people show up, they're like, okay, that's awesome. And I'm just using those as examples because those are the most prominent. Those are some of the most prominent LGBTQ characters at DC.
Like, I remember when North Star got married.
When
North Star, like, they actually made a big deal of that. Which, by the way, North Star was actually the first gay character to come out in comics in Alpha Flight back in the 90s. So having him be the first one to have a gay marriage, I thought was actually pretty fitting. Like, I was aware of who North Star was. I remember walking to my local LCS, seeing that, I was like, oh, hey, cool, he's getting married. I didn't read the book, but, like, I was like, oh, hey, cool, he's getting married. And
JJheat,
it was fitting that he was the one getting that honor. I thought, okay, yeah, that's cool.
And JJheat, Cameron agrees with you that the Batwoman show ruined her reputation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, brand-wise, she took a hit from that show. I'm sorry. There's
a lot of stuff.
And the problem with the show is it went from bad to worse. Like, I don't think Ruby Rose was a terrible choice for the character. And if you saw her in Elseworlds, she was actually kind of cool. Like, I actually kind of liked her in Elseworlds. But then the show happened, and then when she dished it after the first season, they like Rock Bottom had a basement, and that basement is Batwoman season 2.
Me personally, I would took the buyout and keep those writers to the curb. Honest to God.
Yeah, exactly. So continuing on, so actually, I'm going to go to JJheat. What do you think is the worst comic character?
2 words. Hail Hydra. Need I say more?
Are you talking about Hydra Steve or Stevel as the fans call him?
They backtrack on that so fast.
Actually, what's kind of funny, Nick? You're right on that, because you know what's kind of funny is when Nick Spencer was talking about the end of the book in the lead up to the final issue coming out, no, it was as the issues were coming out, he goes, it's not like we're going to have good Steve come out of nowhere and punch evil Steve in the face.
And then that literally happened.
You know what's kind of funny? CBR did an article about that last issue, and these were the first words of that article. You ready? Surprising no one.
Yeah, like, and you can tell by this kind of reading it, it's like they had fully intended for Cap to finally go evil, and they didn't realize the backlash, and it was probably like Disney called them up, be like, "What the f are you doing? Change that."
Well, yeah, it's the thing is that you take a character that was created by Jewish creators to fight these people, and you're like, okay, he's now an agent for Hydra. What?
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say it's stupid. It's more disrespectful than anything. Not even
then you have the characters that side with him, like Odin's son. In other words, powerless Thor sides with him because he wielded Mjolnir at that point. And he's like, pretty sure bad guys have been worthy of lifting that hammer, dude, and you still fight them. You don't all of a sudden side with Dr. Frickin' Doom. It's very stupid. And the Punisher. Don't even get me started on the Punisher.
Yeah,
but
the Punisher would never do that. That is total character stuff.
The justification for Frank is because Steve said that when he puts the cube back, he'll bring my family back, and I'm like, that's not a Frank Castle thing.
Like,
no.
I actually really liked in the Death of Captain America, he actually tried to live by his ideals. And he was like one of the people who could have become Captain America. Yeah, Frank would have done, like, that is totally like in Frank's wheelhouse.
In fact, in Civil War, when Frank shows up and like he saves Spider-Man's life, Cap just punches him in the face because a Punisher kills a villain, and then Captain America says, "Fight back," and then Punisher goes, "No, not against you."
Yeah, because it just totally makes sense that Punisher would respect Captain America, at least as a fellow soldier.
Yeah, he's always respected Cap, and you know what? I appreciate that. But anyway, okay, there you go. So Taladia, other than Lois or Jon, what do you think are the worst comic characters?
Okay, I have another one. Okay.
Oh
God.
And I think it's in the Spider-Man universe. You might be surprised by this.
Oh boy.
Oh, here we go.
No, it's not Mary Jane. Before you even ask.
Is it the other person?
No.
Okay, it's not Paul. All right.
Who is it?
Oh, I think I know who it is, but I won't spoil it. But I think I know who it is.
Go on. Who do you think it is? I'll let JJheat think.
Right.
Okay. It's not Spider Boy. It's not. Okay, if it's not Spider.
I have a guess.
JJheat, use your superior knowledge.
There you go. Is it Spider Gwen?
It's Gwen.
Gwen?
Wait.
Is it Gwen Poole? Spider Gwen?
Which Gwen?
Yeah. Do you have any idea how little that narrows it down?
Yeah, I know, right?
Okay, it's not
You need
Spider
that
Gwen,
clip, Jared.
and it's not Spider Gwen, and it's not Gwen Poole, because I think.
Okay, so it's regular Gwen Stacy.
I know, right?
I know. Like, I thought it would have been Gwen Poole because, like, he does, like, you know, he has a.
No, because
she's a Heather Anto self-insert, by the way. But anyway, so Taladia, why don't you like Gwen Stacy?
Because the fact that she cheated on Peter, that's the one thing I really.
Oh
didn't
yeah.
like.
We don't talk about that. We don't.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
I'll never forget. Wait, Taladia, you were on the stream when Nick had to read it.
Yeah,
This is Nick. This is Nick. As soon as we saw Norman Osborn's O face.
It's not possible.
I'm sorry. I'm literally on my phone. I'm about to delete the stream.
That was a good one, dude. I didn't see that coming. Thank you I just got the image of Nick driving.
It's literally because that she cheated on Peter behind his back. That's one reason. Second thing is the fact that she thought it was fine and dandy to not say anything to Peter. Like, come on, dude. Chick. Come on,
dude / chick.
Well, that story actually never happened, so we're good.
Yeah, they retconned it out of existence.
But it's
I think they actually did retcon it out of existence.
No, they did. I think the way Spencer said is that was a hallucination or like a dream of Norman Osborn, which absolves Gwen. But what the hell with Norman?
But it's still in our minds, Jared.
I know. Wait, I think I know how to explain it, Nick.
Norman's O-face is permanently etched in
Norman was written by John Byrne. That probably is what happened.
Oh.
I had to. So now let's go to our second half of the story.
No. Read Dave's latest comment, please.
Gwen Stacy. Good God, Dave, that's a good one.
Well played. Best jump of the night.
That is comment of the night. That is comment of the night, my brother. That's excellent. All right.
I guess Dave wasn't the only thing being the impaler.
Yeah. So now we're gonna talk about the second half of the discussion. The worst adapted characters. What this means is these could be great characters we love, but they were just adapted poorly. Like Mary Jane in the Raimi movies. Nick, go.
Oh god. Okay. Okay, so I love Toby as Spider-Man. Just gonna put this out there.
Okay.
I love the Raimi movies.
Okay.
Oh my god, does Mary Jane make them hard to go back to? She infuriates me so much throughout the entire trilogy. She is toxic as hell. She's a two-timer. She's constantly playing men off of each other. I just, oh my.
But Nick, it's not about you. It's about me.
Hey,
I'm just gonna say this. Mary Jane in the Raimi movies is a thought.
I got also something to add.
Why are we bringing that phrase back?
Because it's a great phrase. And
Go ahead, Saladia. Go ahead, Saladia.
They also sexualized her, right, in the Raimi films, right?
Overtly so.
Especially the first two films, right?
I mean
the rained on shirt.
Yeah, the nipples and.
To be fair, I think in that scene she was at least like legal age story wise. So
doesn't make it any better, Nick. It really doesn't.
It doesn't really help her case at all, to be honest.
Right. I mean, adult women being sexualized. I mean, that's its life.
Have you seen Ms. Marvel? Case in point.
Hold on. Sam Raimi's MJ is pretty toxic, but I think I can top it.
Okay.
Topher Grace's Venom.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah, that tops it. That tops it, bro.
They tried to do like an evil version of Peter Parker, and it just came out like Eric Foreman with a more wide ear attitude.
So not only that, here's the cool part. Someone legit, and this is why I love the internet. Someone took the Spider-Man 3 Venom scenes and actually gave him a Venom voice. Here's what I mean by that. Do you know how, like, in the Topher Grace, when he has the suit on, he just sounds like Topher Grace.
All right.
So here's what this guy here's what a certain YouTuber did. So here's also, what we'll do.
Read Dave's comment first.
Dave says Mary Jane's a supermodel. She should be sexualized. That is true.
That is true.
All right, here we go. Here's the voice. Check this out. All right, hang on.
We want him dead too, Flint. That's why we've been looking for you. Oh, yes. We know all about you. Like the fact that Spider-Man
won't let you help your poor daughter.
See? That's the thing. It just sounds like it when he has it's the Venom face over. At least when in the Tom Hardy movies, when it's Venom.
But doesn't that sound like Tom Hardy for a second there? Because it just definitely sounds like Tom Hardy.
That's what the YouTuber probably used as a basis.
It's probably AI voice.
Yeah, more than likely.
That's fine. But I'm saying if you had done that, if you were trying to modulate the voice a little bit, at least when the mask was there, that would have worked great.
I've done sound design. I can tell you exactly how to do it very easily. You pitch down the voice, and you add reverb. Bam, it's done. It takes like 2 seconds.
The other problem is that like when the mask was off, he had like fangs and stuff, and I'm like, what the Twilight is this?
I mean, nobody cared. Nobody cared who he was until he put on the mask.
But yeah, that is like the worst portrayal of Venom, which I think was redeemed in the Venom movies. That's what I'm going to say right there.
Also, I agree with Dave. The Doc Ock, I think it worked really, really well. Because like the way that because Doc Ock, at least especially in the first act, represented what Peter wanted to be. Was like a scientist with a loving wife who helped him. It was aspirational, and they like what helped is that they had the scenes of them bonding over science. Like you actually got the connection between.
And say what you want about Spider-Man: No Way Home. I freaking teared up when when Toby meets Doc Ock again, and then you have that reunion between the two, and they're playing the frickin' Sam Raimi theme, and I'm like,
And it's like, Peter, my boy, how you doing? It's like, doing better. And you just see Doc Ock smiling. It feels good.
He's like it's just so that's the I love that where as soon as they take out as soon as they fix that chip, he's a good guy. Meaning he wasn't necessarily a bad dude. He was just being influenced by that chip, and I'm like that is pathos.
Even when he's quote unquote evil, like the highway fight. You've really outdone yourself, Peter Nanotech. Like, he still has that kind of respect for him, and I like that.
Before we move forward, I just want to commend the fact that the original Aunt May actress is 97 years old.
Oh.
Yeah, Rosemary Harris.
And still younger than Nick. So MCU.
Oh my God! Okay, you crossed the line, sir. You need to apologize.
I'm only kidding. MCU Hulk. What a wasted opportunity for adapting a character. It started off as good. It started off as fine. But actually, what's kind of funny, the minute Taika Waititi touched him, that's when it got bad. When he's like, has a hoodie on, and I'm like, what the hell is this?
I'm going to argue that Mark Ruffalo, like, he's shown shades. Like, the hardest line the Hulk ever says is in Age of Ultron. He says, I could choke the life out of you and never change a shade. I am sorry. That is, Edward Norton's Hulk never went, like, his character, his character never went that hard. And Mark Ruffalo just delivers that line. Like, he has this icy stare to him. Like, Mark Ruffalo could have been the Dark Hulk. He has it in him. But he is constantly let down by bad writing.
But I will say, what I love is that as soon as Thor 3 and really mainly She-Hulk came out, and we saw him with the hoodie, that's when people started to appreciate the Edward Norton Hulk movie a little more. And I'm like, yeah, this movie is freaking dope.
What I love about the Edward Norton Hulk movie is it's kind of a pseudo sequel to the 2003 movie. Like, it's not explicitly one, but they carry over thematics, and there's like certain scenes.
At the very least, they use it as a basis.
At the very least.
Yeah.
And then Cameron says, actually, his was She-Hulk She-Hulk is my biggest gripe because it literally switched her personality when she changes. Just goes to show they have no idea of the comics. Well, Cameron, it's considered a red flag at Marvel Studios if you know the comics.
Well, the problem I have is like, she's a hypocrite. You know, she talks about sexualization, and her phone lock screen is literally Captain America's butt.
Or no, I could go with that, but when she says that because she gets catcalled, she handles stress infinitely better than Bruce does. I'm like,
I'm sorry.
I'm like, half his friends got wiped out by Ash. He had his arm burnt. He got hunted by the government.
Was traumatized and beaten by his stepfather.
One at a time.
I hate that the Defenders try to say, "Oh, did you watch the episode? She apologized for that." Like, I don't freaking care if she apologized. There is no apology for something that stupid.
And like, I don't care if she apologized. That was a written line. All right. MCU Taskmaster.
Oh God!
Yeah,
I was dreading this.
I'm just gonna say this. I do like Black Widow, and I am kind of the apologist for a lot of stuff on the show. But even I like that movie. I can't defend. There's nothing I can do to defend Taskmaster. Oh,
because here's the thing. I agree with you, Nick. Black Widow is actually pretty decent up until that point. And then they were
even when it is Taskmaster, like even before the reveal, it's kind of cool.
Because here's the problems. Do you guys know what Taskmaster's supposed to be like? I'm going to say something, and this is exactly what they did. They X-Men Origins Deadpooled him.
Yeah.
Taskmaster is known for like making wisecracks and stuff. It would be one thing if they gender bent him and then kept in the wisecrack stuff, but they literally shot him up. And I'm like, we learned this from X-Men Origins.
Here's how I would have done it. Even if you let's just say you keep the gender bend stuff. What you do is you have her talk, and you think she's mind controlled, okay? And then you do the spray, and she keeps attacking you. Then you realize she's there by choice. She didn't have to be mind controlled. She is there because she wants to be.
Yeah.
So there is no saving her. She just is what she is. Like, I think like that's like you love it or hate it. At least there's something there.
Yeah, there's some potential there. But then it's like, and you can even have her still do like wisecracks and stuff. Because, by the way, Taskmaster's best friend is Deadpool. Just want to bring you up on that. So they literally Deadpooled him. And that's my chief issue. Because if they still had the and here's the reason why. Do you know the justification the writer gave? Okay. According to the writer, she said, and this is someone that said she didn't read comics, so that should be very clear. She said she couldn't figure out a way to have Taskmaster be with like the Black Widow group. Now, who here knows what Taskmaster does in the universe in addition to being a mercenary?
Train.
His literal job is to train the henchmen. You could have had him be the combat instructor of the Black Widows.
And like
fix.
And you can still keep the dying in the explosion kind of thing. Because that's great motivation. That's great motivation to hate now. And like make him the son. Like, I get they're trying to do like the young women, the sex trafficking angle, which by the way, that stuff is actually
that was great.
Cool. Like the intro, and then like them using that like the sad cover of Smells Like Teen Spirit, which by the way, that was like pitch perfect. You know? And like all that stuff. I thought it was like they could have had their and this kind of came out around the time of the guy from the island. I don't know if I can say the name. So they could have had their Winter Soldier moment. Because remember, Winter Soldier came out just as the Snowden stuff was breaking. This was coming out roughly around the same time as the Steam guy. I'm trying to not say the name.
I know who you're referring to.
But before we move forward, I just want to.
Claudia had his hand up. Claudia had his hand up.
Yeah. Go ahead, Claudia.
So I have two worst adaptations that nobody has actually noticed yet.
Ooh. Okay. Here we go.
Okay. First one, Halle Berry's Catwoman.
Oh,
Are you the one that got cat powers because she had cat breath breathed on her?
Yes.
Claudia, I hate you so much. I just deleted that from my memory. Now it's back.
I got one.
I had to watch it for
movie night. Britt likes that movie, by the way. So,
well, I guess even a well-running clock is wrong twice a day.
So, I got one. You guys haven't. I got one, and then I'll go to you, Taladia.
Nemo, Mira from the Aquaman films really craps the bed. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay, let's stop with that joke. So, Elektra from her own movie.
Okay, that was pretty bad.
In Daredevil, she's great.
I'm fine with her in Daredevil. And by the way, Daredevil, the director's cut is good. It's just when they give her own movie. Oh, God, that was bad. That was the most boring superhero movie I've ever watched.
Well, I can top that.
All right, go ahead.
Uma Thurman's Poison Ivy.
No, I got offended. Uma Thurman is the only one who actually understands what movie she's in.
However, I'm going to say she actually played a pretty good Poison Ivy. It's Arnold as Mr. Freeze that sucked.
See, Arnold went too far over the top, but Uma Thurman just completely dialed it. Like, she is perfect. The tone of movie that she's in, she's perfect. She's good. She is perfectly Arnold goes too far. Arnold goes too over the top. But Uma Thurman's Poison Ivy is perfectly dialed in with the tone of the movie. She perfectly fits in with the tone of the movie, and so I'm sorry, I had to defend it.
No, but that works. The thing is, but here's the thing, though, is the fact that she knew she was playing in a big I can't even speak tonight. Big blockbuster movie, and everybody and their mother wanted it in a Batman film.
Oh, Dave is going to top both.
Bane
from Batman and Robin.
I mean, that's just an abomination. I'm just going to say that.
But I raised your challenge, Dave.
At at least with Poison Ivy, they at least imported the character. She acted like Poison Ivy. She talked like Poison Ivy. She did Poison Ivy things. Bane is just a cosplay.
My favorite one of my favorite moments from Comics Week is when Nick and I were talking to Chuck Dixon, and I got to ask him, "So what do you think of Batman and Robin?" Because he invented Bane. Go ahead, JJheat.
All right, I'll raise Dave's challenge twofold. I got two: Ben Forstick and Galactus from Rise of the Silver Surfer. Need I say more?
What? You don't like the Devourer of Worlds being a glorified fart cloud?
Why did you say that, Nick?
Thank you, Jared.
Fart cloud.
It is a fart cloud. That's pretty much what it is. It would be one thing if when Silver Surfer goes into the cloud, you see like him or something like that, and I'm like, the best. Say what you want about the Fantastic Four movie that's coming out. I think it actually looks very intriguing. The minute the end of that trailer, they show Galactus and he's a dude in a suit. He's like a dude. He's not a cloud. I'm like, I will be there.
The most we got in Silver Surfer was they showed his helmet as like a shadow on a moon.
Yeah, but I'm like, that's... Although the rest of the Fantastic Four in that movie, in other words, Chris Evans is Johnny Storm, all those guys, they were great in their roles.
They were.
I think... so the first Fantastic Four in 2005, I legit think is a great film. I think it fires on all cylinders. The sequel is a bit subpar, but it has good elements.
You know,
This is downgrade compared to the first.
Little do people know is that movie's also a Marvel DC crossover. Because what you don't know is that at a certain point, the Silver Surfer went through a time portal, went to the DC universe, and became Perry White. Because he's voiced by Lawrence Fishburne.
You know what my favorite part?
All of this was done in the Matrix.
You know what my favorite part about the Silver Surfer movie is? The Fantastic car was made by Honda.
Yeah, I know.
They literally have or Dodge, and I think Johnny says Dodge, and then Miss Fantastic says always or whatever. It's like he says, so bad. It's so bad.
I love when Sue throws the bouquet, and before the girls can catch it, Johnny just flames it.
Oh, speaking of the wedding, my favorite Stan Lee cameo is in this movie when he tries to sneak into the wedding. Something that actually happened in the comics.
He says, I should be on this list. Name, Stan Lee. You're not on this list. No, I should be on that list. I'm Stan Lee.
That actually happened in the comics. That's why it's my favorite Stan Lee cameo.
Granted, I think it was inspired by Ultimate Galactus, who was a cloud of space bees or something like that. But,
okay, actually, what the story was, and if you go and watch the commentary, Tim Story, the director, says this. His reasoning was, and I quote, he wanted to leave it open for future interpretation because they wanted to make a Silver Surfer movie. So this movie was essentially a backdoor pilot for a Silver Surfer movie. And that's why Galactus is a cloud, because they wanted, whenever they did a Silver Surfer movie, they wanted to give the director that freedom. Which, hearing that, like, I get it. I respect it to a degree. My dude, just no.
Yeah, it wasn't horrible.
It wasn't worth it.
Now, a pretty solid interpretation of the Silver Surfer, I'll tell you that much. Pretty solid.
Did you know that you're gonna love the story. So Lawrence Fishburne actually cornered Tim Story in like a Hollywood restaurant bathroom, and he said he wanted to play Galactus. So
I could see him as Galactus.
He can pull it off.
So they had him like basically Morpheus just forced himself onto the movie, and I love it.
That is, I could see him playing Galactus. That is so interesting.
He was amazing.
The terrible writing from X-Men 97 was the Rogue and Magneto gap relationship, but that's in the comics. It's stupid, but still in the comics.
Yeah, and I can see why they've had a relationship, because like Magneto is the only man who can like touch her. I'm sorry, if your superpower is that if someone touches you, they literally die. If I had a man who could touch me that I was attracted to and had something in common with, I would. Yeah,
flip that. Cameron says,
"What?
Here's one that's definitely top 5."
Wait, wouldn't the mutant collar be an easy fix? Like, let's seriously have this conversation.
Titans, Batman. Yeah. they picked the worst person to play Bruce Wayne. I'm sorry, that dude cannot play Bruce Wayne.
I think it's the writing that let him down because the guy's a good actor.
It's still the casting
It's both.
because
It's both.
his accent started to come in when he was playing Bruce Wayne, and I'm like, no.
If it was Alfred, completely different performance.
Okay, here's my counter argument. If you ever watch the first Tomb Raider movie with Angelina Jolie, he's the villain in that. And he's good. Like, he's very, very
No,
menacing.
but Nick, I got it. But I don't want Batman having an Irish accent.
Fair, but I'm saying the actor couldn't do it, is my argument.
I still don't. He could play Ra's al Ghul, though, if you wanted to perpetuate the non-Middle Eastern Ra's al Ghul. And then you can have him have an accent. That works. Matt, Hugh Hefner was pulling 18-year-olds when he was in his 80s. Doesn't make it any right.
Having lots of money, power, and influence certainly helps.
Oh, and by the way, Dave, what the Bruce Timm are you talking about?
I think you're trying. Yeah, Dave.
I have to.
Let's keep it PG. We keep this PG.
Nick, here's a bad adaptation: Batman and Harley Quinn.
Oh God.
No. Wait, okay,
It's
Don't make
mid.
we are not.
It's
okay,
mid.
If someone says the word Nora Freeze, I'm literally leaving this stream.
No, I'm not talking about the Harley Quinn show. I'm talking about the movie Batman and Harley Quinn.
Don't make me watch that.
No.
I love how many times you said no.
Jared, you're enjoying this too much.
Yes, I am.
Don't make me watch that as a movie fan.
That's that, Nick. I mean, JJheat, we already covered. Claudia, we already covered that. So don't worry. You're safe. You're safe. You're good.
That movie is so stupid. Like the whole Harley Quinn farting in the Batmobile. Like
the things I do for my city.
If we're talking
That's
about
silence.
the SA scene, if you want me to be irrationally angry, please keep bringing it up.
Silence is what I need. That's where I got.
No crossing a line, Jared. Come on.
That's where I got next clip for. Remember when you and I made the granny pants clip for JJheat until that's where I grabbed a clip to screw with Nick and he hated it. It worked so well
because it's actual SA and
I know, and it's created by the same guy that thinks Wonder Bat's a good thing. Haha. So
to be fair, I also don't think Wonder Bat's I said Wonder Bat isn't a good thing.
I said it's the same guy that thinks Wonder Bat is a good thing.
No, I said I too think Wonder Bat isn't a good thing.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Claudia, did he say that?
I'm not getting involved in this.
I mean, by the time I said you literally, as soon as I said I was about to say is it.
In my defense, you guys make this joke so many times, so excuse me if I'm a little removed from stream happy.
You mean like me going, Wonder Bat?
Okay.
Act
like an adult.
In my defense, the second time was the one.
Okay.
What?
So let's go to
for the record, though, Super Wonder is the superior ship.
Thank you. And by the way, for those of you that ship Wonder Bat, I have the perfect refutation. You ready?
Batman doesn't do ships.
You should have seen the grin on. I was just randomly watching Lego. Actually, you know what? When we covered Lego Batman, I was watching it that day. And you should have seen the grin on my face when I hear that line. Because I'm like, oh, I'm clipping this.
Jared, didn't we have like a guest on and you played that clip and they loved it? I swear.
That was
Who was that? Who was that?
Ruth.
Yeah, it was Ruth. We did.
No, I think it was like a celebrity guest. Like it was like actually someone like big time or whatever.
I think it was Sam or someone like that.
Sam maybe.
It was Sam.
By the way, Nick and I had the greatest time clip moment ever. So we had Mike Barron on.
Oh, we got another Brit comment.
Hey, what's up, Britt? What's up? I respect Halle Berry for giving her all and having a good spirit to even the worst of her movies.
Yeah.
No, but Britt, there's no defending that movie. But anyway,
no,
she was great as Storm, though. She was great as Storm.
as far as what Britt is saying, I do support it. The fact that she accepted her Razzie in person, I'm sorry, that deserves respect.
So, Nick and I are talking to Mike Barron, and Mike Barron is a comic book writer who like defined the Punisher and stuff, a legend. So we were talking about one of his comic books, and I said the one thing I say about your books that will always entertain. So he asked me, "Were you entertained, Jared?" And then I play the Gladiator clip of Maximus going, "Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?"
Was that on my channel?
That was on my channel, actually.
That was such a good moment.
That was the best time moment ever. And Rebel Fox then says Super Wonder was way better. Yes, it is. Thank you. So, random Q&A. You guys can ask us anything you want.
Anything.
It could be about YouTube. It could be about... yeah, go ahead, Nick.
What's your opinion on Cassandra Cain Batgirl?
I liked her. I thought it was she's a great character, particularly as Batgirl. I'm fine with that.
Best Batgirl, hands down. I mean...
What I liked about her is, like, she actually got the blessing from Barbara to become Batgirl and whatnot. I thought, like, she was a great, true successor to Batgirl.
Yeah, let me put it this way. As soon as Barbara becomes Oracle, because I think she should always stay as Oracle.
Yeah.
I think at that point, Stephanie's fine being spoiler. Everyone else is going, it can go Batgirl, except if it's the Birds of Prey movie version. Barry asks, who is the worst of the main 4 Robins?
Okay, first off, let's define what the main 4 Robins are, and then we'll go from there.
So it's Dick, Jason, Tim, and Damian.
Yeah, so we're not talking about Stephanie or Carrie.
No, the original 4.
But main 4. The
main
one was
4.
All right. And we're talking strictly Robins, nothing they did afterwards.
Strictly Robins.
Okay.
Yeah, and by the way, he clarifies. There you go.
Okay.
Thank you,
all right, so from
worst, I'm gonna say Tim because there's not
No.
that much
How
that's
dare
separation
you?
from the others.
Okay. Now you're just being stupid. There's literally okay. So actually, I'm gonna say, Jason, Dick,
Why?
Damian, Tim.
Wait, so you're agreeing Tim is the worst, or is Tim the best Robin? I mean,
Tim is the best Robin.
Okay, you were going from ascending order. Okay, what? Yeah, I can see
Tim
why.
is the middleest Robin by a mile. Sorry, I was kind of going off of I was looking at Barry Allen's list. It was not far off. Dick was okay, but Tim is kind of the quintessential Robin for me. Damian's not a bad Robin. Like, as far as like modern day Robin, I think he's fine. Jason was just a disaster. Jason was a disaster as Robin, hands down.
Mm-hmm.
The only one who did worse as Robin was Stephanie Brown, but she doesn't really count. So,
by the way, Dave says you could argue Dick, Tim, and Damian are the main Robins. People only consider Jason's death and resurrection as Red Hood in the modern day. That's true.
I mean, yeah, but the thing is, Jason's time as Robin is an essential part of his backstory as Red Hood.
It is.
Like, Jason is considered Batman's greatest failure, and Dick Grayson is considered Batman's greatest success. You need that contrast. Like, Jason is the black sheep of the Bat family, and you can't have that without him at least being a Robin and him dying.
Mm-hmm.
It's you cannot do it.
Yeah, exactly. So, other questions for the panel? Anything for us? By the way,
the only thing stupider would be doing a retcon of your entire universe and having Tim Drake not be a Robin and just have him go straight to being Red Robin. That would be the stupidest thing ever. Thank God they never did that.
Do you guys think the Robin mantle should be dead and gone? No, but what I mean
It has a purpose. It
Damian
does have a purpose, Cameron.
Damian becomes his own hero and leaves the mantle behind. No one else becomes Robin from there on out. Nah, I don't think you need to do that.
Cameron, as much as I understand your argument, I just don't think Damian, at least from an IP standpoint, is ready to branch out from being Robin just yet.
Also, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think Damian's gonna leave the post because he's the perfect As I know, I said Tim was perfect Robin, but from just a company standpoint, Damian is the perfect Robin. He's literally Batman's son. It's from just a branding standpoint. Damian is the perfect Robin.
Yeah.
From a marketing standpoint, I don't think he's going to leave the role anytime soon.
No, he's not. He's 100% not. So what else do we have here? Hey, hang on one second. I have a pop up on my computer. Okay, so here we go. Come on. To quote Grant Morrison, Batman and Robin will never die. That is correct. That is very correct.
Yeah, we'll still get solo Batman adventures, but we've long since proven that Robin is strong enough that you don't need Batman in a Robin story. Robin's had successful solo titles. Robin's been a part of teams, whether it be Teen Titans.
Just ask Chuck Dixon.
Oh yeah, I swear, Chuck Dixon was he was carrying DC in the late '90s because he was writing all the side books back then. It was insane.
He wrote all the side books people care about.
Because I remember going through my little LCS in my late '90s and just Chuck Dixon, Chuck Dixon, Chuck Dixon, Chuck Dixon.
All right, Rebel Fox. Then, what are your old thoughts on the Killing Joke? You mean movie or comic?
Yeah, because I'm about to say
the comic is great. I'm going to say that. And that's all I'm going to comment because I actually haven't seen the movie. But the comic-wise, the comic is iconic.
The movie would be a lot better if you cut out a notorious extra 30 minutes. If you just let it be the shortest DC animated movie of all time, it would have been a solid adaptation. We did not need that padding for 30 minutes. No, and yes, that pun was intended.
I mean, if you actually go and look at the quote-unquote graphic novel, it's barely 2 issues of a comic. It really shouldn't have been a graphic novel at all.
Mm-hmm.
You guys just giving me a thought what I'm going to do next. So
what?
I'm not going to say no. I'll tell you after the stream.
I mean, pretty much can guess what it is, but yeah.
But yeah, and there's a lot. A Joker murdered a million people. Should be considering Batman's greatest fail. Don't know if I asked this in another stream, but what are your thoughts on Riddler being basically Joker?
I mean, where does that happen? What continuity?
Yeah, exactly. Are you talking about in the movies, or what are you talking about?
I think they may be talking about the Batman. I don't actually agree that in the Batman he's essentially the Riddler because the Riddler, especially the more modern interpretation, is a mastermind, a strategic planner. He thinks he's smarter than everyone else, and by that very kind of broad strokes, Matt Reeves did nail that. I don't really I don't know.
I think in the Batman, correct me if I'm wrong, he was more akin to Anarchy than Riddler.
Yeah, a little bit in terms of that character. I do agree.
Oh yeah, I can actually see that because the Riddler and the Batman they brought together. It was kind of like Zodiac Killer, messed with Ted Kaczynski, but you added in a little bit of 4chan and modern conspiracy. That's kind of the soup that Matt Reeves is brewing there.
I could see that.
I'm surprised he didn't change the Riddler's name away from Nigma, because that really grounds the character.
I mean, if you look at the Riddler outfit,
I'm sorry, I can't take it seriously. Is that your edgy voice?
Yes, it is.
His Riddler outfit is essentially Zodiac Killer but modernized. So.
Yeah, he means in the Batman. Yeah, I don't like that. I'm going to give you that. Alan Grant, what was great in that era too? He passed away a few years ago. Yeah, R.I.P.
Also, Alan Grant wrote a lot of the novelizations for a lot of superhero movies in the 90s, 2000s. They were really good.
That's true. And I think let's get one or two more questions and then we'll wrap up.
Yeah.
And then go ahead.
I've just got a hot take.
He says, I don't like Chris' version of Batman. What's the Chris version of Batman?
I think he's talking about the Dark Knight trilogy.
Oh, Christopher Reeve. He screwed over. Oh yeah, Robin.
Yeah, that
Bane.
seems to be a rising sentiment. Honestly, I think the Dark Knight films are kind of entering the reevaluation phase because, like, basically every popular media, it comes out and then like 10, 15, 20 years later, and it undergoes a reevaluation. That's when it's like true opinion sets in.
Ooh.
Sorry.
What is the best version of Super Wonder in animation?
There's not that many.
Wait, I would say Dakamu, but then it goes downhill. I'm going to say this. Remember that Justice League cartoon called Justice League Action?
Oh, yeah.
They were together in that, and they summarized all the points, and they were together for the very end. And I'm going to go with that one.
Wait, didn't that show get 3 seasons or did it get canceled after 2?
I think it got 3.
It got 3 seasons and they got cancelled.
Okay.
I do have, in response to Dave's comment, I don't think the Paul Dano version would have worked in the Nolan verse because Nolan was going for more of a hyper reality kind of thing of like, okay, all these fantastical elements, if they were real, how would they work? That was kind of his mantra. Whereas Matt Reeves was going for more gritty, fantastical kind of stuff. So I really don't think that Riddler would have worked, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's
works.
a criticism. That's fair.
And, okay, so let's go around and, Taladia, where can we find you and what have you got coming out on your channel?
Okay, so you guys can check me out on X at @TaladiaPlays_ and on YouTube at TaladiaPlays. What I got coming up on my channel is that I'm going to be doing a live reaction to Batman Cape Crusader episode 8 with Jared, as we're going to be going over that, and then we'll do some Q&As there. And then on Wednesday, we'll be Snyder Fans Read Comics on a Wednesday, as we're covering Forever Evil Part 3 or 4. And we'll be having Bianca as well on for that, so stay tuned for that.
And Nick, where can we find you and what have you got coming on your channel?
All right, you can find me on Twitter. On Twitter at Phoenix Press, YouTube, make sure to search the same. And yeah, see you tomorrow. I'll be playing Batman Arkham City. It's my Halloween game. Monday on Comics Watch, I'll be doing a really cool episode there. Tuesday, you guys voted in me playing Chrono Trigger. And then on Friday, we're doing our Friday night feature with Flintstones. Meet the Flintstones. Jared's not going to be there, but I'm advertising anyway.
Yeah.
As for me...
Yeah, go ahead.
As for me, you can find me at JHeat75 or JHeat Blaze on YouTube. We got a spectacular month this spectacular season. You got Gotham Part 2, Gotham Night reactions on Halloween night, a movie review for Beetlejuice 1 and maybe Beetlejuice if I actually see the movie in time. And also also new direction content with the Batman playthrough on this Sunday and Mass Effect. So stick around and hopefully we can get the 300 before the end of the year.
As for Comics League, Britt and I are going to be talking about if Christopher Reeve crossed over with Linda Carter, because there is an episode, and I watched it today, of the show, where she meets a guy that's basically invulnerable that looks like Christopher Reeve, and she literally says, "What should I call you, the Man of Steel?" And he goes, "What do you think I would look good in tights and a cape?" And I'm like, that's very on the nose. And the dude looks like Reeve. So it's not Reeve, but that's what was like, I was like, oh, wow, that is there. So be on the lookout for that on Monday. For Wednesday, I'm thinking about what I want to do. So for Under 2K, Talani and I are going to talk about why the new 52 was awesome. And we'll be having a guest on the show, the YouTuber, the DC New 52 review. He's a fellow New 52 fan who does reviews of all the comics from that time period. So that's gonna be fun. And in terms of movie night, tomorrow is gonna be Jurassic Park, and movie night the following week is going to be Transformers, the original Transformers movie. And then we're gonna Britt and I are gonna be talking about the Absolute universe with Taladia and how we would do the Absolute with Superman and Wonder Woman. So on that note, stay heroic, everyone. Remember, Lois Lane is Lois Lame. She belongs to General Zod and the Alien Queen. Zoe is from Max About for Life. I'll see you later.